It's alive. So I just picked up this go-kart off of Facebook Marketplace to swap this 600cc street bike motor into it. But we've got a couple things to address. Like currently our donor motorcycle isn't even running, and this go-kart has also seen a lot better days. So first thing I want to do is get this thing outside, get it cleaned up, and see what we're working with a little bit better. Then we'll try to focus on getting this old motorcycle running again. Alright, so we're back in the shop. We got the go-kart all pressure washed out and cleaned. We went ahead and got that old junk seat out of here. And now I'm moving over to the street bike motor to see if we can't get this thing to just fire up. I've got the tank still off of it, so I'm not running any fuel to it other than I got a can of brake cleaner. I've got my air box hooked up. I just kind of got the mass airflow sensor and other sensor rigged up in it. And really, I just want to see if this thing will turn over. I know that it'll turn, but I want it to fire. So that's what I'm going to work on now, seeing if I can't get this thing to fire up. I tried to plug in anything that had a plug for it to make sure everything's wired up. It doesn't have a battery, but I got it on a jump box. So let's see if we can't get this thing to hopefully fire over. And then all we'll have to do from there is get the gas tank to feed the engine and stay running. And we'll be good to go ahead and start pulling this stuff off and putting it on the go-kart. Ooh, it fired. Let's see if we can't shoot a little bit of brake clean in there. See if we can get that puppy to purr for a second. Oh no. All right, I think I got it figured out. So let's go ahead and see if we can't get this thing to run for a second on some brake clean. Come on, Betsy. Come on. Let's go. Well, we know it runs, so that's awesome. Now all we gotta do is figure out how to hook the gas tank up back to these fuel lines and keep it running. Then we can go ahead and try to keep all these wires and everything together. I'll probably label everything, so that way we don't lose track of it, swapping it over to the go-kart. But that's a great sign right there. This thing actually runs. All right, guys, so it's the next day. We got the motorcycle running last night, at least off of some brake cleaner, which is awesome. So we know this 600cc motor runs the way it is. Now we gotta get it running off of that fuel pump that's in that gas tank right there so we can keep the thing running. So that's what I'm gonna work on right now, is trying to get it to run off of this gas tank, playing around with some of these fuel lines right here. And as long as we can do that, then I'm gonna go ahead and label everything and start getting this bike stripped down. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. Let's go, we got the bike running. I had to swap the fuel lines down here. I guess I had them backwards. I taped or bungeed the clutch, and I was spraying some ether in here, but then I didn't need to this time. I swapped the fuel lines around and bam, she's running. I just let her idle. I haven't done anything but let it idle yet, but this thing ain't started since 2003. Let's go, man. All right, cool. Well, let's go ahead and start trying to get this thing tore apart. And then also yesterday we got the go-kart taken care of. We got this washed up a little bit and that old junk seat out of here. So now we got to pull that old motor that blew the spark plug out of the cylinder head. That's what we got to do now. Strip this down, strip that down, and start getting them swapped over. Let's get into it, man. So we went ahead and got the motor running, and then we went ahead and pulled it out of the motorcycle. We've got everything labeled. I've got all my coil packs labeled. I've got all my harness and fuel lines labeled with colored zip ties. So I know exactly how this is supposed to go back when we put it in the go-kart. I went ahead and jumped on the motorcycle first because I wanted to get some better ideas of how to mount this motor into the go-kart. Plus, this is gonna be the heart and the power plant of our build, and I just kind of feel like this is the most important thing to get running and right first. So we went ahead and did that. Now we're gonna go ahead and jump back over to the go-kart and get this thing stripped down so we can start fitting up everything and seeing how we're gonna get it to work. All right, so we got the 600cc officially put in the go-kart. We don't have any motor mounts or anything made up yet, but we've ran into a couple clearance issues and I had a feeling this was gonna happen. So first off, our crankcase right here is hitting on this bar. Obviously we could chop this bar down, but to line our sprockets up, it's still gonna wind up running into our suspension. Also, the exhaust, our header's gotta run right here, and it's gonna pretty much touch the back of the seats when we put seats in this thing. So because of just those two reasons alone, we need to get this engine scooted back at least 6 to 8 inches so we have plenty of clearance for the exhaust header to not burn our backs when we're driving this thing, and also so that way we're not rubbing the suspension on any of our coolant lines or crankcase when this thing's eventually gonna be flexing, hopefully. So because of that, we need to go ahead and extend this frame back about 2 feet. If you look, this crankcase cover right here, it needs to run at a certain angle, the chain does, or else it's gonna rub on the crankcase cover. We could probably Dremel some of that off, but I really don't wanna do that since this is the only engine block we have and we don't have another replacement. I don't wanna take a risk on cracking it or damaging it and then this build being over with. So because of that, we need to get the axle back anyways. We got other clearance issues here. It just makes all the sense in the world to extend this swing arm about 2 foot. It'll give us a lot more room to mount this motor and get everything to line up exactly like we need to. So that's what I'm gonna work on now. I've already got some marks on the angle or on the square tube marked down. I've got some angle iron that I'm gonna use to extend it, and then we're gonna go ahead and try to make sure everything's level and get this 600 mounted in here. So let's go ahead and get to it. All right, so we made plenty of room for our motor now to clear our suspension and to make room for some motor mounts. We got our swing arm extended about 15 inches, and that gave us all the room in the world we need to adjust this thing, clock this thing, do what we need to do to get it fit in this. Plus, it looks really, really cool extended. Next thing we're gonna have to do is figure out how to get our sprockets aligned by shifting the motor side to side. This is not the sprocket I'm gonna run for this. This sprocket is insanely small. Even the one on the motorcycle is small, but it's almost twice the size of this one, and it's got tabs where hopefully we've got enough mass to bolt it to this one. If not, we're gonna have to do the unthinkable and weld it. But that's my plan for now, is to go get the right sprocket that's gonna also fit this sprocket, because they were designed together and can run the same chain. Go grab that one off the motorcycle, try to get it centered and bolted onto this one, get a chain on it so we know we're exactly lined up where we need to be, and then start working on this bottom mount slash brace for this swing arm. This piece of metal is gonna kind of fit somewhere down here like this. And then we're gonna build some kind of tabs off of this to make a motor mount for the bottom. And we'll leave the bolt loose in here so that way we can kind of clock our engine from there right where we need it. But we can kind of at least set the position with this, plus finish bracing up the swing arm. So before we do anything, we gotta work on the sprocket situation. That way we can put a chain on it and get everything lined up properly, start building our motor mounts, and then we can kind of go from there. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. It costs nothing, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.